Hey everybody. So we talked about these ebooks, interactive PDFs basically. You can see these all over the internet. You can download these things. These things are really good for portfolios and for like animating stuff coming in. This is basically made up of a system of PDFs or content kind of on pages that kind of scroll in, scroll out. But the big thing is the actual links between the pages itself. Because if you think of this thing as like a PDF form with a bunch of PDF pages, and one thing will link to another page. And within those pages, you've got these like little scrolling animations and stuff like that, which we'll get to later on. But what I want to concentrate on today is basically just how to link these pages together and create these. And I like to do this in InDesign. For instance, here I have a PDF, kind of a little mock demo portfolio page you can start writing. I have, if you notice my mouse, whenever I roll it over, it starts to becomes a little hand because that is a button basically. And I've got some rollover highlights kind of coming on these little buttons right here. All this stuff is created in InDesign, except the images, obviously. This icon right here I downloaded, free icon, home icon. If you click picture one, I've got another image that kind of comes in from the bottom. Picture two, and this one doesn't have any animation on it. It's just kind of a little demo. This is basically made up of 3 pages. If you notice down here, 3 of 3, through 3 different pages. Now you could just scroll these pages from left to right, but what if you've got content on this page and you want to click and go to another offset booklet or part of the booklet? Say if you've got 60 something pages in this PDF, it's kind of pointless to do all that. So hence why these interactive PDFs are so good, because you can create a lot of content and make like almost a mock little website basically of hyperlinks going to certain pages. So for this, just to get started, I just want to do 3 pages and show you how this done and how this laid out. It's fairly simple, except there's just a few little things you got to remember in terms of creating a master page and then creating parent pages from the master page. So let's get started doing this. InDesign document here. I'll show you how this thing is laid out before I delete this. This is my master page here, and these are my parent pages down here. I've got 3 pages created. All these are buttons. This was created a button right here, and I'll show you how to do that. But this is the big thing you're going to have to kind of understand, learn how to separate between the parent tab up here, then your child pages basically down here. If you're using an older version of InDesign, it may say master on there. It's kind of the same thing. Master, parent, it runs the same. Everything you create on these parent pages is going to duplicate on these child hierarchy pages down here. So let's get started doing this. I'm going to cancel this. I got to kind of recreate this again, so it probably won't look exactly the same, but maybe it will. So I want to say this. Go ahead. So I would suggest starting this as a web layout. You can use say a landing page that you've created. Just kind of duplicate the landing page and create the buttons from there. But this is the easiest way to kind of get started. Just use your web layout or a 1920 1080. So this right here is big too. You'll probably be maybe in advanced or however you work in InDesign. You want to go to the interactive for PDF. And automatically that brings up the tabs that you need over here, and it also brings up this pages tab, which automatically creates a parent page for you and one child page, I guess. I'll call these my child hierarchy, your parent, but it's only going to create one. So right now what we want to do is make sure we've selected the parent channel, because what I want to do is create those buttons so they kind of duplicate on every single page running down. Now I'm just going to start with 3 pages minimum. So I have a home page and I have 2 pages for like display images. So I'm going to create just a title bar, and I'm going to do all this in InDesign, so bear with me. My InDesign skills are not really that great, but I'm just going to create bright colors. Let's kind of get them dark, so I'll use white. So I'll create some text here. Put my name on here. Let me get this to where you can see it. Make this, put this up here. So this is my title bar. Probably not centered right, but that's okay. So this is going to be my main layout, my, your title bar, your what you're looking at. I'm going to make some buttons over here on this side here. So, but you'll notice the fact that I'm working on this parent, it's creating on this this page down here. Now I know that I'm going to have 3 pages, so basically what I'm going to go ahead and do is create my other pages now. Make sure you clicked on the parent or the child page down here. So this is not blue, and I'm going to create this plus sign over here. You notice every time I create a page, it's creating the content that's on the page there. So if I were to scroll down and look here, I've got 3 pages now. So I'm going to go back to my parent, and I'm going to create my buttons. So I'm going to create one button here. Create another button here. I am going to bring in that home icon because I like the home icon. So I'm just going to bring it in, place. Bring these in as PNGs so I don't have a background. Oops, something happened. There we go. So looking at my parent or my child pages down here, I've got all the buttons and the home icon on every single one of these pages. Now, whenever you get into like major content and stuff like that, where you don't want the buttons on all the pages, you can kind of go and delete them off separately if you want to. It's just for this sake, it's probably best to keep everything, especially if you've never done this before, to go ahead and just work on this parent page, for instance, creating the buttons like that, so you can kind of go back and delete what you need if you needed to, or if you wanted to create another button on one of these separate pages that takes you to some more content, you would do it on that separate page. But right now I'm going to have all these buttons on every single page and a home page to go back to my home page. So let me create some text here. This will be my one. I'm going to copy this and paste it. All I did was just copy and paste that. Probably need to change those to white so you can see them, but I'm not really so much worried about the design factor. I had more time to do with this one right here, but the bare bones of things, you can take your time to create nice assets. You can actually create these assets in Photoshop and stuff like that if you want to, and bring them over. I would just save everything as a PNG. I'm just keeping this separate because I want to change this background color in InDesign, so I do it like that. But what I am going to do, since I have this layered over here and I want this whole thing to be the button, I'm going to select both of these objects. I want to group them together. So whenever you select one, you select the entire thing. That's important for creating buttons. So if you have things layered on one thing, and if you look over here in your layers tab, you'll see it. You got your groups. So this is done and good. I have my layout. I don't have any content on here right now because I'm not really worried about the content of the actual pages right now. So now would be a good time to go ahead and basically create the buttons, how to do that. So Easy way to do it, just select. I have this group selected. Everything's selected in here. You could just make sure select everything right there. Right click, do this interactive, convert to button. So now, actually let's bookmark these things first. So before we create these buttons, we're going to have to give these buttons a destination. And to do that, we need to be able to, okay, page 1, page 2. And if you notice, these are just 1, 2 over here. But we need to give these pages bookmarks. So what I'm going to do is go down here and select my first page. And I'm going to bring up my bookmark tab. And I'm going to create a bookmark. This is going to be my home page. Select this one, create another bookmark. This is going to be my page 1. We'll select this one, page 3, create another bookmark. Or page 2, I'm sorry. So now that you can see how the pages are actually labeled, whenever we convert this to a button and give it a destination, we'll be able to shoot the destination to these pages right here, if you get what I'm talking about. You don't need to save this. Let's go ahead and save this project. So if this thing crashes, and I won't have to actually recreate it. I'll just name this one video demo. So now we can create a button now. Now this one was already created a button. I actually created this button. If you notice, it's like this here. I'm going to go back out here to my master. I need to be creating the buttons on my master page because I want the buttons to basically be on every single page. Now if I just wanted to create a button on page 2, for instance, I would just go to page 2 and create the button, but I want this to be a button on every single page. So I'm going to go and I'm going to select it. I'm going to bring up my button box. If you can't find your button box anymore over here, go to Window, Interactive, your buttons and forms. There we go. So this is button 1, and I did create a button whenever I opened it up. So I've created a button. You want to create this thing on the click. If not, it's just going to be on a rollover. On rollover, what that means is if you just roll over it, it's going to click. It's going to create the action there. But we want it to be able to be a clickable button, so we created on click. You can experiment with these other ones to see what they do for you, because sometimes they may work if you just kind of got something that you'll just want an action to happen. If you just roll over it, that's what that's talking about. So, and we'll talk about this rollover appearance here in a minute. So on click, we need to set an action for it. So click the action, go to destination. Now we want page 1 to go to page 2 basically, which is labeled page 1 in our bookmark, because right now this is going to be our home page, so we'll want it to go to page 1. So we want this one to go to page 1. You don't have to save anything. Basically, if you just click off of it, it should be active. You'll still be able to see the little finger button over here as you created it. I'm still in my master page here. I'm going to click this one. My button forms, if you can't find it, just right click, interactive, buttons and form, convert to button. Button 2, on release or tap, we want it on click. Want to create the action, go to destination. We want to destination page 2. Now I want to create my home button. Down here is this icon. So this image, I've just selected the image. Interactive, convert to button. On click. Go to destination. It's already kind of came up default at the home because it's the first page in the order up here. So yeah. So now before I go adding, well, let me add content. So The only thing about this, there's not really a quick preview of these things to see if you got to kind of go ahead and publish it or export it to see if it works. And I would suggest doing that very often so you can kind of keep up with things, especially if you got a lot of content. But I don't really have that much content here, so I'm just going to go ahead and add my content on my pages, so whenever I do, you'll be able to see that I'm actually switching pages. Because right now, if I just go and publish this, none of these pages will look like they've changed. So I'm going to go click on my home page. This is going to be where basically I'm going to have a picture of me or my splash page image that I've created. You notice on this one it's kind of like a weird picture of me, so I'll kind of emulate that. I'll just put another image in here wherever it may be. Let's put this guy. We'll say this is me. So this is me. This is my home page. That will be a picture of me or a really nice, you know, what you want people to see on your home page. It could be an about page or whatever you want to do. So this page is going to be kind of like maybe some text, you know, about me, and maybe a picture here and some text. So let's just make some text in here, and you can kind of get where I'm going with this. I'll just fill it up with some lorem ipsum or something like that. Let me get my lorem ipsum generator over here, which I should have brought up before I even started the video, but I did not. But 2 seconds, I'm still talking. There we go. There we go. So that's what's going to be on my page one. And then in page two, I would like to have like another picture that I've created digitally that I want to show off. So I'm just going to place any image in here. Different than my homepage image, obviously. So let's just put this elephant here. Or actually, let's put this guy. So looking at your layout here, you can see the different content is different here on these pages, but your parent page is still that template page, which is good. So I think I'm ready to kind of go ahead and publish this thing and see if it works. So let me go ahead and try this. So you want to go up here, you can go to share. If you want to save this as a document to send to somebody, you can. Just go to File, Export, and make sure your Adobe PDF Interactive is on. If it's for print, it's not going to be interactive. And you could save it like that. But the good thing about this is you can save these online and publish these online. So if you go up to share up here, you've got publish online. This box comes up. Actually, let me save it first just to make sure. Publish online. There we go. So publish your document online. You can use advanced publish new document, update existing document. That I believe you could do that. It may actually update the link, which is good, and not have to do a different link every time. So you want to pay all the pages, export as a single page per time. So you could just do a spread page, but let's just keep those defaults right here. It should be fine. So we'll go publish. Then another box will come up after it reads it. And it starts uploading your document. Cool, your document was successfully uploaded. You could view the document now, or let's just copy this link right here. So copy it. Let's bring up a browser. Now this may come up differently on different browsers, like Safari versus to Chrome, Firefox. Sometimes I have had issues with the Macs converting if maybe they're created on a PC. That's just kind of something we'll have to approach as we go, but I'm just going to cut and paste that URL and press enter, see what happens. Yeah, there's my home page. This is off right here, but that's okay. So I'm rolling over, my mouse hand comes up, that one comes up. Now let's test these links to see if they actually work. So page 1, I got my text. Page 2, yeah. Now I want to test my home page. There, it takes me back to the home. There, it's good to go and kind of test these links on every single page to see if we're working. But this is the layout. This is kind of solid now. Now we've got 3 documents down here that are linked together with these hyperlinks. So taking this a little further, if you notice, I had in my other document a little rollover interactivity on this, and you can find some of the links to animation with InDesign, and we could go really down the rabbit hole of making these things good, the way these come in like that, then that one comes up like that. This is all kind of like interactivity animation within the actual document itself. So I want these to be different colors when I roll over, you know, and if you've created different assets, then you'll have to actually bring in the new images for the assets, which can be done, which I'll let you dig, you know, for the interactivity, the creating different, that Terry White video that's in the exercise link, he has some good ideas for creating different images for rollover images on buttons and stuff like that. You can control scale of it, create what they call tweening, which is like a motion path, which I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to make these, I want these to be different colors when I roll over them. So I'm going to work off the parent page because I want them to all be like that. So I'm going to click, select this first button, and I want my button box up. So I don't know where it went to unless it's here. Yeah. So I'm going to go interactive, buttons and forms. So if you have it selected, it's going to bring up that button. So notice down here you got your appearance. You can change it to a click. This is what it's normally going to look like. So I want to create a rollover appearance. So already now that this is highlighted, this is what the rollover is going to look like. I want to change the color on that. So you can change it to whatever you want to. Yellow. So you notice this blue is still affected. You could change the click color whenever you actually click on the button to another color. You could do that too if you've got something kind of going on. But I'm just going to keep it right there for right now. So you don't need to save anything. Just click on this button here. Let's just change this one too. Let's change this one to another color, maybe like a purple pink. So yeah. So this should be working. It's a little offset because my text box is right there, but that's going to be fine. Actually, I may need to actually change that. Yeah, see if that's going to be a problem. I don't really think it will. Let me see if this update existing document. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can update the document. That's awesome. I just learned that. Yeah, see my text box, or my text actually was a little over there, and when I changed the rollover state, so I need to actually go in here and shrink this box a little bit. There we go. So publish online, update existing document, publish, okay. It's uploading the document. This actually updates the link, so it's kind of good. I just never really thought to click that. So I'm just refreshing this one. Wow, my rollover highlights are coming up. That's cool. And the links still work. So how did I get that one thing kind of rolling in there? And like I said, you can go down the rabbit hole with this kind of stuff. You know, please experiment as much as you can. The better, the more interactivity you have, or the more motion you have on your page is scrolling in there. We're talking about, I don't want to get into like the details, the animation principles, but you'll be able to kind of view your document to see if it's going to work for you. So let's go to this page right here. Now I want this thing to kind of come up from the bottom, or just to come in kind of faded in. So I've selected it, and I'm going to go to my animation tab in my interactive. So let's do this. So all these cool presets right here. This is the image name. Appear, disappear, fade in. Let's go and fly from bottom. And it kind of gives you a little preview basically of what it's going on right here. So if you want to experiment with another one or something like that, you can. Now you can actually adjust this here tweening path right here if you think you want to. But you can create the duration, how long it comes in. Let's take a little longer. 1.5 seconds. I'm playing the preview of how yeah, that looks good. So yeah, definitely play around with different presets and whatever you may like. You can actually adjust this path. There's I could send some videos over of creating, but if you Google it, it's creating tweening paths, motion tween paths in the interactive. If you want a special custom path, like drawing it with the pen tool basically, and having it motion across the path. But the presets are pretty good, especially if you've got text coming in, like the e-document that we had, or that I was showing you earlier, wherever it went to. Yeah, it's somewhere. Kind of how these were kind of coming in. They don't come in obtrusively, but you can read them, and it's not too fast, but it's not too slow. So it's something to kind of work on. So I've created this. Now I'm going to go publish this and update this. Update existing document. All right, now let's refresh my document here. My rollover links are working. My page 1 looks good. You can make the text kind of come in from the side or from the up, or fade in, fade out, however you wanted to do it. Button 2, oh yeah, there we go. And my home page. So that should be enough to marinate on and experiment with. If you've never done this before, I would suggest start simple with just learn how to do the buttons. Just create 2 simple pages so you don't waste a lot of time on creating nice content right now. Because, please do make this thing look as nice as you can. I would suggest it. If you need ideas for content, suggest using their landing page that you created, and duplicate maybe the landing page and some of the buttons and content that would be on those different pages. Like I said, you don't necessarily need buttons on every single page. Maybe a home page. So maybe for page 1 here, maybe you don't need the button page 2 on the page 1. So you can always go to this page and basically delete this button off of here if you want to. And then just create your home page for that. So it's kind of up to you really where you want to place all the images and stuff like that. So make this thing look as nice as you can. A little bit of interactivity, I think, and I think for other things like making this a link on your portfolio site of a small little e-magazine or an interactive document that you created looks really nice. The online publishing is really convenient too, because you can just add links. You can do hyperlinks too. I didn't really go over that, but say if you were on your your main page up here. Where is it? Did I close that? No. If you create a button, another button up here for like, and you wanted like a page to a website, you can just use a hyperlink. So instead of that being a button, it will be a hyperlink to a alternative website that you could use. So yeah, have fun with that. So okay, any questions, hit me up. But if not, this is kind of where we're at. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.